Ever think about, like, how a song could be so powerful? It shapes, like, a whole nation's identity.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to look at today.
Hmm.
The story of La Marseillaise,
Right.
the French national anthem,
Oh,
a
yeah.
tune that came right out of the French Revolution.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how
Well, it really,
it's more than just a melody, right?
No, it is.
It's like a time capsule,
It is.
capturing all those raw emotions,
Yeah.
the struggles,
Makes-
and the triumphs
Yeah.
of a huge moment in history.
Of a huge moment in history. And, it's fascinating how even something like fashion can be, like, swept up in this tide of revolution. It's a reflection of those seismic shifts in society
Yeah.
in unexpected ways.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you've brought some great stuff with you today
I did.
to help us really understand La Marseillaise,
Uh-huh.
a podcast episode that, like, traces its history,
Yeah.
and then some research notes as well.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be exploring how this song became a symbol.
How it reflects the time and the revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And we might even find out some cool things about revolutionary fashion along the way.
Yeah. It's fun how even fashion is affected by that.
Exactly. So let's rewind the clock.
Okay.
Back to 1792,
Uh-huh.
a year of incredible tension in France.
Yes.
War with Austria had just been declared,
Yes.
and the atmosphere was electric.
Absolutely.
Our main source,
Yeah.
this podcast episode,
Mm-hmm.
sets the scene with a dinner party in Strasbourg,
Right.
hosted by the city's mayor,
Right.
Philippe Dietrich.
Now, Dietrich himself is a fascinating figure.
Yeah, he seems
A man who embodies the contradictions of that era.
like a man between two worlds.
He really is.
The podcast describes him as a distinguished chemist, a geologist,
Right.
and, wait for it,
Yeah.
an iron master.
An iron master.
Yeah.
Which makes his role in the birth of La Marseillaise even more intriguing.
Yeah.
At this dinner party.
Dietrich expresses his frustration with the existing French military marching songs. He finds them outdated, filled with echoes of the old regime.
Uh-huh.
He yearns for a new anthem,
It's like
but one that reflects the spirit of a citizen army fighting for liberty.
since that a revolution needs its own soundtrack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as fate would have it,
Uh-huh.
one of the guests at this dinner party is Claude Joseph Rouget de Lisle,
Okay.
a military captain with a passion for composing music,
Uh-huh.
inspired by Dietrich's call to action and fueled by the patriotic fervor of the gathering.
Yeah.
Rouget de Lisle goes home that very night
Oh, wow.
and composes what he initially calls the war song of the Army of the Rhine.
Not quite as catchy as La Marseillaise.
No, it certainly lacks that same punch.
Yeah.
But the music itself was powerful, imbued with a sense of urgency and drama
Yeah.
that captured the spirit of the times.
And this song, it doesn't stay confined to a dinner party in Strasbourg, does it?
No, not at all.
It spread.
It spreads like wildfire.
Yeah.
Carried by soldiers moving from town to town,
Wow.
it eventually reaches Marseille,
Okay.
where it catches the attention of a fiery Jacobin named François Mireur.
Okay. Now,
Now, our
listeners who might not be familiar with that term,
Right.
the Jacobins were a radical political group
Yeah.
within the revolution,
Movers and shakers.
known for their passionate pursuit of equality and popular sovereignty.
Yeah, and this Mireur, he's part of the Fédérés, right?
He is.
These volunteer soldiers marching to Paris
You got it.
to defend the revolution.
Yes, and Mireur,
Okay.
recognizing the power and spirit of Rouget de Lisle's song, introduces it to his fellow Fédérés. They embrace it wholeheartedly,
Yeah.
renaming it the war song of the armies of the borders.
Evolving as it travels.
Right.
Taking on new names and meanings.
Yeah.
It's like gathering momentum.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And as the Fédérés march from Marseille to Paris.
Their adopted anthem becomes a rallying cry,
Oh, wow.
spreading through towns and villages along the way.
Go with it.
By the time they reach Paris in July of 1792,
Yeah.
the song, now known as La Marseillaise, has preceded them,
Okay.
becoming a powerful symbol of revolutionary fervor,
So it's
sung on the streets, in the homes,
Yeah.
and by the soldiers themselves.
Not just a song anymore.
No.
It's a symbol,
Exactly.
an anthem for a nation in the throes of radical change.
And its arrival in Paris couldn't have come at a more pivotal moment.
Yeah.
The city is on the brink of what will become known as the Second Revolution, a period of heightened tension and dramatic events.
Right.
The lyrics filled with fiery imagery and calls to arms against tyranny.
Wow.
Ignite passions, anxieties, and hopes within the hearts of the Parisians.
It's amazing how a song could have such a profound effect on people experiencing this historical moment.
It really is. Yeah, it really is incredible to think about like the impact, you know, like hearing those powerful lyrics for the first time. Yeah. Calling for people to like rise up against oppression. Yeah. It would have been thrilling for some people, a validation of their like revolutionary ideals. But for others, it might have stoked fear, anxiety, a reminder of the violence that comes with, you know, radical change.
It's like La Marseillaise almost becomes like a soundtrack to the revolution.
Yeah.
Right, reflecting both the hopes and the anxieties of this nation in turmoil.
Yeah.
And speaking of anxieties, one of the things that stands out in the lyrics is this imagery of like bloodshed.
Right.
There's a line about watering the furrows with the impure blood of enemies.
Yeah, it's intense.
Pretty intense, right?
Yes, it's definitely a product of its time.
Yeah.
You know, the French Revolution was incredibly violent, and the lyrics of La Marseillaise reflect that reality.
Right.
It's a reminder that revolutions are rarely bloodless.
But wouldn't such violent language, like, alienate some people from the revolution?
That's a good question.
I mean, wouldn't it make those who are, like, hesitant about the violence?
You would think.
Even more apprehensive.
That's a really interesting point. And it's something that's been debated for centuries.
Right.
Some argue that the violent imagery undermines the message of liberty and equality.
Yeah.
While others think it reflects the harsh realities of the struggle.
Okay.
You know, that sometimes force is necessary to overthrow tyranny.
It's a complex issue, for sure.
It is.
But what's undeniable is that this song resonated deeply with many people at the time.
Right.
It became a rallying cry.
Absolutely.
It's a symbol of defiance against the old order.
And it's important to remember that the revolutionaries saw themselves as fighting for a just cause.
Okay.
They believed that the blood they shed was a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. And La Marseillaise became an anthem for that sacrifice.
So the song captures both the idealism and the brutality of the revolution.
Right.
It's a complex and layered piece of music, that's for sure.
It really is. But there's another fascinating aspect to this story that I'd love to explore.
Okay.
Our sources mention the influence of ancient Rome on the French Revolution.
Yeah, it seems like they were...
The revolutionaries were obsessed with all things Roman.
Obsessed with all things Roman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They were fascinated by the Roman Republic.
Okay.
A society that overthrew their own monarchy and established a government based on the will of the people.
So they were looking back to the past for inspiration and guidance on how to build their future.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They saw parallels between their struggle and the struggles of the ancient Romans. Yeah. And they drew strength from the stories of Roman heroes like Brutus, who helped to establish the Republic.
So it's like they're connecting their revolution to this like glorious legacy.
Exactly.
Of freedom and republicanism.
And they didn't just draw inspiration from Roman history.
Right.
They also adopted Roman symbols and imagery.
Okay.
For example, the Phrygian cap, also known as the Liberty Cap, became a popular symbol of the revolution.
The soft conical cap that we often see.
Yes.
In all those depictions.
It was originally a symbol of freed slaves in ancient Rome.
Oh, wow.
But the French revolutionaries adopted it as a symbol of their own liberation from tyranny.
It's interesting how symbols can take on new meanings.
Absolutely. And become powerful tools for social change.
And it wasn't just the Phrygian cap.
Right.
They also embraced Roman hairstyles.
Yeah.
Like the Titus haircut. A short
layered style.
Wait, so they were even getting their haircut inspiration from ancient Rome.
Inspired by a play about Brutus?
Oof.
It shows how deeply this fascination with Rome permeated French society.
Yeah, and this Roman influence wasn't limited to just symbols and hairstyles.
You're right.
The sans-culottes.
Were working-class revolutionaries.
A shift in fashion.
Who rejected the aristocratic fashion of the time.
Yeah. Something about the sans-culotte.
Instead of wearing the knee breeches, favored by the elites, they wore loose trousers.
Right. So it's like their...
Hence the name sans-culottes.
Clothing became...
Which means without breeches.
A symbol of their rejection of the old order.
It was a way for them to visually distinguish themselves from the aristocracy and to express their solidarity with the working class.
What's really fascinating is that this style...
And what's really fascinating is that this style wasn't limited to the working class.
Yeah, it wasn't limited, right?
Even some members of the aristocracy adopted the sans-culottes look.
There's a famous anecdote about Philippe Égalité.
There is.
The Duke of Orleans, a cousin of King Louis VI.
He was a member of the royal family.
Right.
But he chose to embrace the sans-culotte style.
That's a bold move.
It was a way for him to signal his support for the revolution.
For someone in his position.
And to distance himself from the increasingly unpopular monarchy.
So the revolution was about more than just political change.
Exactly. It was about a complete cultural transformation.
Wow.
A reimagining of what it meant to be French.
And this transformation is reflected in everything.
Right.
From the music to the clothes, to even the way they styled their hair.
It's a reminder that revolutions aren't just about changing laws and governments. They're about changing minds and hearts.
Right.
And creating a new cultural landscape.
So we have La Marseillaise capturing this revolutionary spirit in music. And we have these fashion trends, like the sans-culotte and the Phrygian cap, reflecting that same spirit visually.
It's all interconnected. These different elements work together to create a sense of unity and purpose.
Right.
And to solidify the identity of the revolution.
And the fact that these trends spanned across social classes, from working class revolutionaries to members of the aristocracy, shows how deeply these revolutionary ideals had penetrated French society.
It's a testament to the power of ideas to transcend social boundaries.
And to think that it all started with a song.
It did. Yeah. It really is remarkable how La Marseillaise went from, like a moment of patriotic fervor to like a symbol. That transcended its musical origins.
It's like it became the voice of the revolution.
Right.
Carrying that message far and wide.
Exactly. And that message, it continues to resonate today.
Wow.
Centuries after the French Revolution. La Marseillaise is still a powerful symbol of liberty, equality, and fraternity.
That's incredible. Like its enduring legacy.
Powerful.
How many songs can you think of that have had that kind of impact on history?
Very few.
Right.
La Marseillaise is really in a league of its own. It's a reminder that music can be a powerful force for change.
But it's also a reminder of like the complexity of history.
Right.
Right. Because as we've seen, La Marseillaise reflects both like the idealistic aspirations of the revolution and the brutal realities of like how it was actually carried out.
That's an important point. It's easy to romanticize revolutions, but they're often messy and violent.
And La Marseillaise doesn't shy away from that violence.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Its lyrics are a stark reminder of the sacrifices that were made in the name of freedom.
But they're also a testament to like the human spirit, right?
Absolutely.
That willingness to fight for something better.
Right.
Even when the odds are stacked against you.
In the face of overwhelming odds.
So La Marseillaise is more than just a song.
It is.
It's a story of struggle. Sacrifice. And ultimately triumph.
It's a story that continues to inspire people around the world.
It's amazing. Hearing all this makes me wonder, could something like this ever happen again? Could a song have that kind of impact in our modern world?
That's a fascinating question.
Right.
It's hard to say for sure. The world's so different now. We have so many different forms of media.
Right. We have so many different ways
in communication.
Of communicating.
Right.
But music still has that power. To move us,
Absolutely.
To connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
And I think there's always a need for songs that speak to the human spirit. Songs that inspire hope, courage, and solidarity.
So maybe there's another La Marseillaise out there.
Maybe so.
Just waiting to be discovered.
It's a thought-provoking idea.
And it leaves us with something to ponder.
Right.
What songs today might have the power to inspire change.
Yeah, what songs today?
And become anthems for a new era.
Right. What songs could be the anthems?
Yeah.
For a new era? That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
It is.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
In this deep dive into La Marseillaise.
Yeah. We've explored its origins.
We've explored its origins.
Its symbolism.
Its impact on the French Revolution.
Its impact.
And its enduring legacy.
Yeah. We've also seen how it reflects, the complexities and contradictions of revolution itself.
Absolutely.
And how it still resonates with people today.
It's fascinating.
So the next time you hear La Marseillaise, try to listen beyond the music.
Right.
And hear the story it tells.
The story it tells.
A story of revolution, transformation, and the power of the human spirit.
It's a story worth remembering. And one that continues to inspire us.
Yeah.
To strive for a better future.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
On this journey through history and music.
It was a pleasure.
It was great having you.
Exploring these topics.
Yeah. Until next time.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.
Deep dive.
And keep exploring.
Explore the world.